Well, Francis, a very good afternoon to you. I can certainly say we haven't got yet to the gist of what happened on the day that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. But now, this is the second witness to take the stand, Mthokozisi Twala, who was inside the house on the day that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. What we're hearing about now is his friendship with the deceased from a very young age when the two used to play soccer, and how Twala then ventured off into dancing, and how Senzo then became a professional soccer player. He described his friendship with Senzo Meyiwa as that of brotherhood. They wouldn't just party together or hang around together, but they would also encourage each other to do better. At the time, Mthokozisi Twala was still in school, but we're hearing from him that Senzo Meyiwa would often invite him to come and watch him while he was playing professional soccer for Orlando Pirates. And in the run-up to the actual day that Senzo Meyiwa was killed, we're starting to get details of that now, Francis, in which he tells us that Meyiwa had invited him here to Johannesburg, and on the day prior to that, how he had gone around with Senzo Meyiwa, how he had gone to the house that Senzo Meyiwa had also shared with his then girlfriend Kelly Khumalo, and how certain plans had changed. After Meyiwa had received a telephone call, they were due to attend a birthday not a birthday party, but a party that was being hosted by an Orlando Pirates player at the time, Roy Muhamutsa, and he had received a telephone call. This is Senzo Meyiwa, had received a telephone call, and there suddenly seemed to have been a change of plans. Instead of going to that party that was due to take place, after receiving that call, they then diverted that direction towards an area in Soweto where Senzo Meyiwa's then girlfriend Kelly Khumalo was performing. They didn't go into much detail. He also spoke about how they'd stopped at one of the restaurants, and that is where Senzo Meyiwa had told him about this telephone call that he had received. But the state prosecutor, Advocate George Beloy, asking him not to go into details of that telephone call. But Francis, we're getting to the build-up now of what exactly happened, because just before we went to the lunch break, after this performance by Kelly Khumalo, or the performance that was taking place in Soweto by Kelly Khumalo, we heard Mthokozisi Twala say that Senzo Meyiwa wanted to leave where Kelly Khumalo was performing. He also didn't see the need for them to be there. Then Senzo Meyiwa had dropped him off in Katlehong. Now, this is his father's home. That's how he described it to this court. And after Senzo Meyiwa had dropped him off in Katlehong, 5 to 10 minutes later, Meyiwa called him back, he says, and asked him to get dressed as they were going to pick up Tumelo Madlala. You would recall Tumelo Madlala was the first witness who was inside the house at the time that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. He had taken the stand and also spoken about the events leading up to the day that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. When they arrived, them going to the bottle store to go and get drinks, and then subsequently landing up in Spruit View where this incident had taken place. So certainly, Francis, after this lunch break, we'll go more into details of what happened on the 26th of October 2014, but also just a bit earlier on to add, Francis, before you let me go, a bit of drama a bit earlier on this morning where there was the presence of Malisa Latifo, who you would know had been representing some of the accused in this matter. There were questions about what his presence inside court was. They then went to the judge's chambers, or in fact in the corridor, and all things seem to have been ironed out there. And it was confirmed when the legal representatives had risen to introduce themselves and indicate who they were representing, that Malisa Latifo was in fact not representing any of the accused. Currently, you would know that accused number 1 and 2 had changed their legal representation last year. That's why we had this lengthy postponement. And now, this morning, accused number 3 and 4 also have new legal representation, and Advocate Zandile Mshorolo continues with accused number 5. So his presence, a bit of unsavory comments as well that were made from Malisa Latifo towards the state prosecutor, Advocate George Beloy. In some of the remarks that I've also posted on Twitter, we could hear Malisa Latifo basically say to the state prosecutor, he should not come to this court with these monkey tricks. This was after Malisa Malisela Tifo demanded that they all go to the judge's chambers and speak about why he is at this court. But Advocate George Baloy for the state indicating that those are issues that needed to be ironed out in court. The registrar then came into the court and asked all of the legal representatives to ask their clients if they wanted Advocate or they wanted Malisela Tifo in the courtroom. And then shortly after that, that's when we saw the legal representatives head towards the corridor, and a conversation must have been had. Since then, we've not heard from Malisela Tifo. He is not confirmed representing. It is confirmed that he's not representing any of the accused that are currently in the dock. But certainly at 2 o'clock, when the proceedings get underway once again, we'll go into the events now that led to the exact day. This after Mthokozisi Twala says Senzo Meyiwa had gone to pick him up once again at his home, his father's home in Katlehong. This is when they were going to pick up Tumelo Madlala, who's his friend, who's already taken the stand, and what followed after that.
Chriselda, very quickly before we let you go, for people who tuned in while we were on that court appearance, why are we not allowed to show Mr. Twala? And of course, this was somebody very close to Senzo Meyiwa. Are you able to tell us anything about the testimony, any emotions shown while he's recounting what happened in that build-up?
Well, Francis, the reason why we are not allowed to show the faces of the witnesses, you would recall, the legal representatives in this matter have long raised concerns about safety, not just their safety, but the safety of witnesses who are going to take the stand. So there's been a general consensus with the media as well as the court that in the best interest of the safety of the witnesses, that the witnesses' faces not be shown. In this instance, there'd been allegations of intimidation, there'd been allegations of fear for safety, and you would recall as well that Tumelo Madlala had also told us that at some point he had been in witness protection. So the safety issues surrounding this trial are certainly paramount, and the judge has been quite clear that his main issue is to ensure that this trial goes ahead without any issues relating to the threat to safety of any of the participants, including the witnesses. But just describing his demeanor, Mthokozisi Twala, appearing quite composed at this point, but at some point, Advocate Zandile Mshololo, who's representing accused number 5, rose to say that she cannot hear Twala speaking, and he went on to say that, at some point, his voice would dim a bit because there are some aspects that will trigger him of the testimony that he is going to give this court, and apologize for that, asking for the court to bear with him as the events that he's going to recount are obviously of those of someone that was inside the house on the day that Senzo Meyiwa was killed.